Thank you and good afternoon. My name is Carl Kruger. I'm the Senate Chairman of the Senate Finance Committee. In fact, I just came back from Albany a few moments ago, and I was on the FDR Drive, and I was pleased to look back in the landscape of Lower Manhattan and see Beekman Tower rising. That will be changing the face of Lower Manhattan. And as you come to downtown Brooklyn, we see once again the vision of what change means and what the Forest City Ratner companies have done for our city. What we're talking about is we're talking about incredible things happening. Things that we never dreamt could ever happen before in a climate of economic despair. We're talking about office buildings being built, proposals made and dreams realized for affordable housing. We're talking about bringing world-class sports arena directly to our doorstep and creating a new economic engine for Brooklyn and for this entire city. We're talking about producing thousands of jobs and thousands of units of housing. We're talking about a stimulus package that, when it's fully blown up, will mean billions of dollars coming back into our city. A city that desperately needs it. A city that's been a victim for all too long of economic despair. And a turnaround program begins with Atlantic Yards. True, it's not the Atlantic Yards that we once envisioned, but nevertheless, it brings to us all of the components that make the project a true viable entity in our communities. It once again brings us that arena that we desperately need to drive the engine. It produces affordable housing, it produces workforce housing, it produces condominiums, and a mix that we'll all be proud of. It brings commercial revitalization, it takes blight and it eradicates it from an area that desperately needs it. It puts money into the coffers of the MTA, and it builds a future for our very borough. So from its very onset, when Bruce Ratner proposed this as nothing more than perhaps a vision, well, he's taken that vision and brought it to the doorstep of reality. After we go through with these hearings, the phased project moves forward, the litigation is behind us, a new day is born. A day where we're able to say that Brooklyn will once again be the center and the focus, the true masterpiece of what our city and our state can be. We're going to be calling to Albany next month to deal with a deficit of revenue in the extent of maybe another $3 billion. It's a sad state of affairs when our economy is so threatened. It's even a sadder state of affairs when we're looking to look in a negative way on what a great proposal Atlantic Yards is. I've been saying it all along. I've been talking about revitalization in Lower Brooklyn, in our communities, for 16 years that I've been in the Senate. People never thought that Metro Tech would be a reality, but Bruce Ratner did. And he turned around what downtown Brooklyn is all about. Well, as we see an economic proposal on the table today, as we see developers, even in the worst of economic times, bringing their cranes into Brooklyn, creating union jobs, producing commercial revitalization and housing, then we say that Atlantic Yards is a little bit behind schedule, but a long way in offering what we need to bring Brooklyn back to the schedule that it desperately needs and wants. So today I want to thank ESDC for coming to us, for opening up their minds and their hearts and understanding that in an economy we have to learn to do more with less. And that's just what Atlantic Yards is talking about. But the public benefit piece still exists, the housing exists, the arena exists, the commercial revitalization exists, the jobs are there, and a vision and a growth for a new Brooklyn is at our doorstep. Thank you very much.
Well, then along came Forest City Ratner with the community benefit agreement. And even though a lot of people have criticized, saying that we didn't get a chance to work, you're just dealing with those black organizations, this and that, and all that nonsense. The point of the matter is that you know, it made me realize that, wow, here's someone that's really trying to work with us like, you know, like the military did, by all, you know, everybody's being equal and having an opportunity to advance. And that's what freedom is all about. But let me go on to say is that generally in our neighborhood, when developers come in our community, black men stand on the corner and try to figure out what they build and don't even have a clue what they're building. At least we was afforded the opportunity to be at the table, to sit down and work with people of color in our neighborhood. And a lot of people seem to think that, well, that's only blacks go to build, but you need to come to 485 Hudson Avenue and see that that diversity that I talk about in the military also applies in our office there on, at 485 Hudson Avenue. People are coming in looking for jobs, because when you need a job, color do not make a difference. I just want everybody to know that.
Hi, I'm Joe Chan. I am president of the Downtown Brooklyn Partnership. I have prepared remarks which I will submit to the record, but I'm going to keep this simple and speak from the heart. I am a resident of the downtown Brooklyn area. I live in Fort Greene. Before that, I lived in Dumbo, so I've been here for quite some time and I'm fully invested in the area. I have 2 daughters who go to public school in the area, and my job is to ensure that downtown Brooklyn grows and continues to grow as an economic center and as a downtown to a city of 2.5 million people. Let me make it very clear that there is no other single project that will have a greater positive economic impact on downtown Brooklyn and Brooklyn for decades to come than the Atlantic Yards.
My name is Mike Beauvais. I represent the NIA Community Services Network. My grandfather was born here in 1882. My father, of course, myself, my children, now my grandchildren. Brooklyn has come a long way and needs to go further. When nobody invested in this part of Brooklyn, the Ratner organization invested in this part of Brooklyn. There's buildings all around us that he took a chance on, helped us grow, helped jobs. There's no reason why we shouldn't go forward with this program to help the rest of the community, to bring jobs, to help our children, to help growth patterns. It's so important that we have this project. For the people that spoke early this afternoon that have no faith, need jobs, have no education. There's a middle class. There's a class of people that don't have education, that need help, they need support. He brought this community to where it is today, and he will bring it further. I beg you to support this program. I beg you to support this project. Manhattan has basketball. The Bronx has a stadium. Queens has a stadium. It's no reason why Brooklyn shouldn't come into the 21st, 22nd, 23rd century. Thank you very much.
And Ford City Radnor, and Mr. Radnor is helping us work towards that community benefit agreement. Let me say something. I'm not a signer on the community benefit agreement, but I sure was the person that brought it forward and talked about it and said that it should happen. I come from Fort Greene. I lived in the projects. I ain't no genius, but I know what needs to happen. I'm no professor. But you don't gotta be a genius to know people gotta eat, have to have a roof over their head, have to have food and clothing. You ain't gotta be no genius. So you see these guys, these guys all over Brooklyn every day, out every day looking for a job. Every day. They go through training programs that we put together, and we get people to help us train them, people that gave us jobs. They train us in safety. They train us in everything you need to be on a construction job. Then we get electricians come in, get some basic training in electrical, get some basic training in plumbing. They're not getting paid for it. They just come and do it because they know we need it. All I'm saying, support this project, y'all, because we need it.